Embattled National MP Todd Barclay is being told he must return to Wellington when Parliament resumes if he wants to keep getting paid. Last month, the Clutha Southland MP said he would not seek re-election in September amid a furore over allegations he secretly recorded a staff member in an electorate office. The MP, who's getting paid $165,000 a year, hasn't been seen in Parliament since he announced his departure and isn't responding to any media requests. But New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters is among those calling for him to return, saying if he's taking the public's money, he needs to do his job. Political reporter Benedict Collins has the story.
Todd Barclay hasn't been seen in Parliament and has scrapped public appearances since he announced last month that he will stand down at the election after one term as MP for Clutha Southland. The Deputy Chair of the Education and Science and Primary Production Select Committees hasn't returned RNZ's calls or messages. He did respond to his local newspaper, Queenstown's Mountain Scene, but only via email and ignored many of their questions. There are 4 sitting weeks before the House rises for the election, and Mr Barclay is still collecting his $165,000 a year MP salary. The National Party's senior whip, Jami-Lee Ross, who visited Todd Barclay this week, says no decision has been made yet about whether he'll return.
Todd Barclay said that he is keen to be the MP for Clutha Southland until the election, and he's doing that work. Any leave requirements he'll be discussing with me as the party whip between now and the next sitting week of Parliament.
The New Zealand First Leader, Winston Peters, says he feels sorry for Mr Barclay because he believes he was badly let down by his senior colleagues.
But that said, there's not one law for the National Party, different law for everybody else. If you're picking up taxpayers' largesse for a job, you have to do that job unless you've got a darn good reason like illness or family bereavement or good reason not to be there. And the National Party should ensure he does that and start living up to the kind of standards they roughly impose upon everybody else when they're talking about taxpayers' money, but apparently never about themselves.
The Executive Director of the Taxpayers Union, Jordan Williams, says Todd Barclay chose not to resign, and if he wants to continue to collect his salary, then he must return to work.
MPs are paid to be in Parliament when Parliament is sitting. I think given the circumstances, most New Zealanders would appreciate he probably did need some time to reflect or lick his wounds. But it's now been a few weeks, and there's no reason why, if Mr Barclay says he wants to continue to be an MP until the election and be paid until December, the very minimum he should be doing is turning up to Parliament when it's called.
But Jami-Lee Ross says it's his call as Chief Whip about which national politicians have leave.
The bottom line is we have to maintain 75% of our MPs in the Parliament to cast our votes. I always maintain that we do have the numbers in the Parliament to cast our votes. That's my job, and I'll continue to ensure that any leave requirements for MPs complies with the standing orders.
Winston Peters says that's a bad attitude to take.
The problem here is you've got people like Jami-Lee Ross and others who at the whip level are saying, 25% non-attendance rule, that we don't require him because of that. Now, basically, again, Jami-Lee Ross, like the rest of his older colleagues, are saying to all of us, there's one rule for us, we're born to rule, we're the privileged group, we're noblesse oblige, and the rest of you can get stuck.
Jordan Williams says MPs are given leave to represent New Zealand abroad or on official business.
Leave isn't there for an MP to effectively take garden leave or hide from the media. It's not the purpose of it. He should be doing his job.
If he's not prepared to come back, what do you think he should do?
I think that the public need to quite rightly continue to ask questions. The media need to continue to ask, where is Todd Barclay? It's turning into a bit of a joke. At what stage do taxpayer representatives need to send out a search party?
None of the Labour MPs contacted by RNZ would be interviewed. They said it was the National Party's mess and its job to clean it up. The House is in recess next week, but Parliament will resume the week after that. The $165,000 question is whether Todd Barclay will be there. From Parliament for Checkpoint, Benedict Collins.
Checkpoint has repeatedly asked Todd Barclay for an interview. He doesn't even reply to say no, but we heard he was replying to written questions, so we sent 10. Do you intend to come back to Parliament for the last 4 weeks of the House sitting before the election? Do you intend to be attending select committee hearings between now and the election in September? How are you currently representing the people of Clutha Southland as their MP? Do you plan to give a statement or talk to the police in relation to their investigation into the alleged taping of a staff member in the Gore electorate office? What have you been doing since you announced you were standing down at the election as an MP? What are you most proud of achieving for your electorate in the time you have been an MP? Why have you chosen to stay on until the election and not resign immediately? Did you discuss your return or otherwise to Parliament with Jami-Lee Ross and Sarah Dowie when you met with them this week? Are you still using parliamentary travel and expenses? And last but not least, did you record a staff member or members without their knowledge at any time? We're yet to receive a response, but we're sure we will.